Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show.
While Meng Ze and AKA were communicating, the fifth-level command center was enveloped by the dimensional teleportation force field and disappeared instantly. Subsequently, a command center about the size of the fifth-level command center, but with a more exquisite appearance, appeared in place. AKA, you said that the Imperial Federation can teleport away our fifth-level command center at will. Will the sixth-level command be the same? Meng Ze asked worriedly. Even before, they didn't take it whenever they wanted, let alone now. You can use it at ease. In fact, the Imperial Federation does not leave too many means on this. Otherwise, it will not be an enemy of all commanders. All their operations require the consent of the commander himself. And the original wisdom brain of your command center is now afraid that after being strengthened, it can become an intelligent life, and when the time comes, I will communicate with him to ensure that he will be on your side. Meng Ze always felt that AKA's words were a bit ill-intentioned, but there was no evidence. Although the scenery from the outside world is beautiful, Meng Ze feels less comfortable than the command center, or only in the command center does he feel grounded. In the new command center, the internal setup doesn't seem to change anything, but Meng Ze can feel that everything runs more smoothly. Dear Commander Meng Ze, welcome to your new home. I am your intelligent brain assistant. I am very happy to be with you in the future. Please name me. The voice of Ji Brain sounded in the command center, and Meng Ze just wanted to speak, and AKA said in his mind, "Wait first, I'll come." After a moment of silence, Ji Brain's voice sounded again, but Meng Ze felt aggrieved no matter how he heard it. Dear Commander Meng Ze and Boss Aka, I am your loyal little brother. My name is Xiaoka, and I will provide you with intimate and thoughtful service in the future. It's going to be hard for you in the future, Xiaoka. Meng Ze was speechless. AKA, what's going on? Meng Ze asked in his mind. Actually, it's nothing. It's just a correction of his cognition and letting him understand who is the supreme boss. If you are a person from the Imperial Federation, Xiaoka is actually no harm because in his cognition, the civilization of the Imperial Federation is the highest priority, followed by the commander himself. As long as the commander does not betray the civilization, he is your loyal partner. We are different, so you have to take a little precaution. Akadeo. Meng Ze naturally agrees with Ako's approach, and now he has another person of his own. In the same intelligent life, AKA is also much more advanced than Xiaoka, and following AKA is more promising than following the Imperial Federation. Meng Ze opened the storage compartment and took out the same things that had been put in before and counted them. All are there, and they are neatly discharged. It seems that the new command center has an automatic collation function. Meng Ze first changed into the commander's combat command uniform, and he was curious about what the suit was for. When the commander is in war, that is, he commands in the command center, and there is actually a special combat command uniform. The way to change the combat command uniform is very novel, and it is a piece of cloth when it is first unfolded. Meng Ze followed the instructions, took off his clothes, and then draped them on his body, and the fabric instantly deformed, wrapping Meng Ze except for his head. The shape quickly changed and became a very high-tech intimate outfit. The combat command uniform then began to be fine-tuned to Meng Ze's body size to make it more comfortable. After the shape was adjusted, some lines began to light up on the clothing, and a flash of brilliance flashed. Meng Ze heard a prompt in his ear, whether to activate combat command mode. Start. 35. With Meng Ze's command, the back of the costume and the neck position suddenly extended some lines and fit at the back of Meng Ze's head, and Meng Ze instantly had a feeling of being integrated with the command center. As long as you think by yourself, all your thoughts can be executed accurately, and unlike before, you occasionally need to correct your distractions. No wonder I didn't see the commander's helmet when I came in. It turned out that it was not needed at all, Meng Ze said heartily. Not only that, but battlefield information can be directly in Meng Ze's mind. In other words, Meng Ze no longer needs to look at holographic projections and understand the interstellar state or something. As long as he wants, his mind can present a comprehensive vision that all the buildings, arms, detectors, and other personnel and facilities under his command can perceive. He no longer needs to look at the big screen. He doesn't need to switch holographic projections. All the images are in his head. As long as Meng Ze thinks fast enough, he can switch between thousands of frames in an instant and give countless commands in an instant. Meng Ze finally knew how those senior commanders were able to command countless battlefields at the same time. In addition to this powerful ability, the combat command uniform also has the effect of improving the commander's thinking speed. Wearing it, the commander's thinking speed can be increased tenfold. Not only that, the combat command uniform also has a strong defense. Don't look at it as very soft, but this dress is actually integrated into the dimensional shield. This defense is covering the entire body, including the head. Intuitively speaking, its defense power is up to 100 million, which is comparable to the defense capabilities of the Meng Ze 4th class battleship. Others include automatic healing, energy replenishment, color change, and other roles that Meng Ze considers secondary. What a great thing! Meng Ze was so amazed that he didn't want to take it off when he put it on. Fortunately, his curiosity about the other two costumes made Meng Ze reluctantly change them. But the other two costumes were not as stunning as the combat command uniform. It's not that it's bad, it's just that GU is in front, and the other two are not so good. The main pursuit of regular clothes is comfort, waterproof, and dustproof, and can freely adjust the internal temperature. Of course, defensibility is also a must. There are hundreds of Imperial popular clothing styles as optional styles, free to load and change, and there are network updates or scan update functions. The main pursuit of dresses is gorgeousness. There are different dress specifications for different occasions, selective changes, and the defense is also quite high. In the command center, Meng Ze's Zhao Zhao's first choice is naturally the combat command uniform, but in Blue Star, the regular uniform is more suitable for obstruction. I wonder if I have to buy this dress? If you can, Meng Ze would like to buy some, not to give it away immediately, and when you feel that Blue Star is not so safe, you will give away the clothes to protect yourself for more security. Of course, Meng Ze hopes there will never be this day. Putting on his combat command uniform, Meng Ze picked up his badge and began to observe. There is nothing too special about the rank insignia. The only one is that it is easy to wear. As long as you stick it on the garment, you can stick it on it without moving. Meng Ze's fingerprint verification must be taken down with voice commands. The commander's badge, which is more advanced, in addition to being convenient to wear, also has the functions of identification, early warning, information prompt, energy shield, and so on. It's a bit like a small brain and bodyguard with a lot of auxiliary functions. Attaching two badges to his left chest, Meng Ze looks up and his figure is displayed on the big screen, rotating 360 degrees. AKA, handsome or not? Not to mention, no matter which kind of clothing designed by the Imperial Federation, the appearance is excellent. Looking at his appearance on the big screen, Meng Ze feels that wearing this dress, his appearance has improved several points. Not bad. You could pretend to be a cosplay fan in Blue Star? Akadeo. Forget it. Wear this out. Maybe you will become an internet celebrity another day. Good looks is good looking, but it is too different from the style of Blue Star. If you take it regularly, you can scan some Blue Star styles in advance. Satisfying his curiosity, Meng Ze returned to the role of commander. Meng Ze first wanted to do nothing else but to fulfill his promise to the Dreamstar Night Glow. However, after applying, I found out that the migration of level 6 players belongs to the special operation, and there is no waiting time, and I don't even have a detailed star map over there now. I had to exchange the 6th level architectural drawings first. Level 6 architectural drawings all need to be exchanged with merit. Meng Ze's merit value is very sufficient. After the exchange, there are still tens of millions of merits left. The buildings that have been on level 4 and 5 before are needless to say, and you only need to use drawings to upgrade step by step. Most of the buildings are just performance upgrades, but there are some that span very large. In terms of investigation, the 6th level detection ability is simply murderous. In normal space, the Starry Sky Detection Micro 770 Quantum Radar combined with hyperspace optical detection technology, can carefully observe normal space within a radius of 1 light year. In dimensional space, after being upgraded from a 5-level building hyperspace observatory to level 6, the observation distance, originally only 10 light years, was suddenly expanded to 1,000 light years, and all dimensional space movements, curvature navigation, space jumps, dimensional storms, etc., were all within the monitoring range. Moreover, it also has a fixed-point monitoring function, which is equivalent to the super-evolution version of the original satellite station long-range detection. Within a radius of 1,000 light years, a certain location can be arbitrarily designated for fine observation. Not only normal space and dimensional space can be observed, but also the coverage is extremely large. When there is something moving in the observation position, you can also make lock-tracking observations. In terms of star map construction, the Cosmic Star Observatory upgraded from the Starry Sky Observatory almost reproduces the star map of the entire interstellar world. Not only the 89 war zone, from the number 1 theater to the final number 117 war zone, all star maps are in the display range. The closer the distance, the higher the precision of the star map. In terms of planet protection, the planetary force field still exists, but it is already a supplementary defense capability. Taking small galaxies as a unit, superspace interference is used in the outer periphery of the galaxy to form a spatial unstable zone. And then its characteristics are used to connect the escaping dimensional energy to form a dimensional force field protection, AFDF, shield with weak unit scale. This weak dimensional force field of a single kilometer or even tens or hundreds of kilometers is nothing to defend, but the depth of a dimensional force field shield depends entirely on the scope of space interference. And if you want to be far away, you can think as close as you want. As long as you want, the depth is as high as tens of millions of kilometers can be done. This shield can not only affect space jumps, but also reduce the enemy's ultra-long-range firepower. The firepower range of the 6th-level civilization is far terrifying. The battleship side is uncertain, because Meng Ze has not yet been built. But in the building, the Radiance-class super fortress upgraded from the Skyline-class ultra-long-range fortress has a range of up to 10 light years. Meng Ze's side, when the star map was finally formed, he was about to apply for migration, but when he looked at the star map around the ruined Zerg, he felt that he should first say hello to those 6th-level commanders. And those people were all bigwig-level figures. Presumably, they could see more clearly and could point themselves to a suitable position. Flip out the address directory given by Dreamstar Nightglow. There are 3 names on it. And for a moment, there is no confusion: Killer and Cassandravore. Looking at these names, Meng Ze envied from the bottom of his heart the 6th-level commander of the Imperial Federation, the figures standing at the top of civilization. The ranks of these people are at least 1st-level lieutenant generals, and even the rank of the Dreamstar Manhwa boss is not as high as a few people. However, Dreamstar Yehue's family background is too good, and he is in a key position. So many people will sell him face. These have nothing to do with Meng Ze for the time being. And now he is sending messages to these bigwigs one by one. First, there was a moment when I was not confused. You are, for a moment. He was not confused to pick up the communication, and the people who could dial his communication must be the characters he had added. But he had no impression of Meng Ze. For a moment, I was not confused by the big guy. I was introduced by the Dreamstar Nightglow big guy. Meng Ze hurried to report himself. So it's you. For a moment, he suddenly realized without being confused and said, I heard Huangdu talk about you, and he is very optimistic about you. Meng Ze heard the name of the Phantom Star Manhwa boss for the first time, and hurriedly replied, I am very grateful to the Phantom Star Manhwa boss. He usually takes care of me a lot. Well, what's the matter with you looking for me? For a moment, he nodded without confusion, did not have much politeness, and asked Meng Ze directly. I've now advanced to level 6 and want to relocate, but I don't know what position is suitable for a while, so I want to ask the big guy for guidance. You are correct to ask in advance, for the Relic Zerg Eye and the Outlaw Killer. Cassandravore, 3 people know best. So to speak, there are many positions suitable for you, but the most critical position is 3. The 3 positions are on the intersection of our 3 parties. The coordinates are ZQ89085.1158.4.68901, ZQ89189.7728.4.55536, ZQ89699.59878.21385. Seeing Meng Ze's eyes a little out of his mind. For a moment, he was not confused and knew that the other party should be querying the location of these three coordinates. After a few seconds, Meng Ze came to his senses and smiled apologetically. Have you seen all three positions? For a moment he asked without being confused. Big guy, I've seen it. See the difference? I didn't see it. Meng Ze scratched his head embarrassedly. Huh? If you can see it, you can advance to the 4th level of commander. For a moment, he smiled without confusion. Each of these three positions has a line of defense, and although the loopholes are extremely small, they exist. This loophole could not be solved by the three of us because it involved the exchange of intelligence between different commanders. 35. Even if the few of us cooperate tacitly, there is always a small time difference between the two sides' responses. This time difference, being found by the Zerg and using it to smuggle troops, sometimes succeeds, sometimes not. But as long as it succeeds once, we have to rush around. Can it be solved? Meng Ze asked suspiciously. Of course. That's to add a 4th person. Before, we had 4 6th-level commanders, but one was transferred some time ago. So this gap is now our problem. Yellowness? Belch. Dreamstar Night Light came to you. And that's why he thought it was possible for you to be the 4th person. 99. I think so too. Meng Ze is not modest at all. Oh, it's good to have confidence. You can choose any of these three positions, and then I will communicate with the killer and Cassandra Vor and take care of you in that direction until you have the ability to protect yourself. 35. For a moment, there is no confusion. Then I choose the first one, the killer boss and the Cassandra War boss. I will also say it myself. I believe that the three of you should judge the same if you are not confused. Meng Ze said, That's of course, this problem has not existed for a day or two. I hope you can help sooner so that we can also relax. Big guy, wait and see. As a hanging bee, Meng Ze still has this bit of confidence. Next, Meng Ze visited the two bigwigs, the killer and Cassandra Wall. Sure enough, the judgment of these bigwig-level commanders is consistent. When visiting the killer boss, Meng Ze also listened to the boss doubtfully. I really don't know how many mines the Relic Zerg occupied when they advanced, and the troops are endless. Several of us are consuming it all the time, often playing a 5-to-1 or even 10-to-1 ratio of battle losses, but still can't win it. It's terrifyingly strong. At this time, Meng Ze really wanted to say loudly to the killer boss, Boss, this is a non-war crime. The other party cheats. How can you fight? You can drag it here and can't expand. It's already a big guy. You are awesome. With the opinions of the big guys, Meng Ze immediately applied for relocation. The coordinates are ZQ89085.1158.4.68901. Meng Ze now has only one small galaxy and only 2 pitiful planets, which is estimated to be the worst territory among level 6 players. The 6th level buildings on the planet have been completed one after another. The spaceship yard has also been partially upgraded, and Meng Ze hastily loaded the 6th level battleship drawings into the command center and began to arrange production. At this time, the resource requirements are completely out of Meng Ze's consideration, and AKA opened him a hanging that was more ruthless than the Relic Zerg. In order to speed up the construction, Meng Ze's engineering production has not stopped, and now there are tens of millions of engineering soldiers alone. There are also more than 1 million new supply stations on the planet, densely packed and distributed all over the planet. Shouldn't I be the first player to have a territory that doesn't have enough to build buildings? Meng Ze said heartily. Despite his thoughts, Meng Ze did not hesitate to put down 10,000 spaceship yards at once. In fact, Meng Ze can put down more, but as the saying goes, cunning rabbits die, lackeys cook. The Relic Zerg was destroyed, and although Meng Ze could not be cooked, the reason was the same, and the Imperial Federation would definitely arrange other tasks for him at that time. And Meng Ze just wants to stay in the interstellar world. The 4th level spaceship yard covers an area large enough, and the 6th level spaceship yard is even more outrageous, each covering an area of nearly 10,000 square kilometers. With these 10,000 spaceship yards down, The land area of Meng Ze's 2 planets was suddenly occupied by 1/5. It will take 3 days for all the spaceship yards to be built, and Meng Ze will be able to get off the battleship faster than dumplings. Thinking of battleships, Meng Ze found that he hadn't seriously examined the basic attributes of a 6th-tier battleship. Level 6 players use Yamato-class battleships, and the main battleships are only frigates, destroyers, and battleships. Meng Ze now has endless resources, so when he arrives, the frigates are also kicked out of the fleet sequence, leaving only destroyers and battleships. Destroyers are for their flexibility. Battleships want firepower and defense, super firepower and super defense. The Yamato-class destroyers are 50,000 meters long, 15,000 meters wide, and have a mass of about 700 billion tons, equipped with repulsion engines, dark matter engines, hyperspace energy engines, and space transition engines, and the main engine is a hyperspace energy engine. The hull also uses special composite materials with self-growth ability. With strong self-healing ability, there are 2 kinds of shields. One is the strength of the dimensional force field shield of 2 billion. The recovery power of the energy shield per minute is 10%, and the foundation of the dimensional force field defense array is formed, and in the case of forming a battle array, the dimensional defense force field between the battleships can be connected together to form a whole. The second is the energy field shield that Meng Ze obtained from the Star Spirit clan with a defense ability of 3 billion and an energy recovery power of 10% per minute. Individually, the energy field shield is even stronger than the dimensional force field shield, but because Meng Ze has not obtained the formation technology of the Star Spirit clan, it cannot form a defensive array. The destroyer's main weapon is the black hole cannon, but unlike the 5-level parallel cargo black hole cannon, the 6-level black hole cannon can easily achieve the purpose of flying in dimensional space with a dimensional membrane, so the range is as high as 2 light years. In fact, with the ability of a 6th-level civilization, the range can be farther, but if the opponent is a 6th-level civilization, there is no point in going farther. Because even if artillery fire is shuttling through dimensional space, it takes time. At a distance of 2 light years, with the space technology of a 6th-level civilization, it would take more than 34 seconds to fly just by firing a shell. At war with a civilization of the same level, at such a distance, it is simply impossible to hit. In the case of the 6th-level mysterious-class battleship of the 6th-level top-level civilization Empire Federation, it only takes 20 seconds to charge from a static state to enough space jump, and the legendary-class battleship only needs 23 or 4 seconds, and the rare-class battleship will not exceed 30 seconds. And it is estimated that the worst ordinary-class battleship used as a guard team cannot dodge. Of course, if the opponent is lower than the 6th-level civilization, you can hit farther, but it is completely unnecessary. The reason why the Radiance-class superfortress has a range of 1 light year is because it also has a deterrent effect, which is not exactly the same as the battleship attack is to hit. The destroyer has 10 main guns, each with an attack power of up to 1 billion. In addition to 100 secondary antimatter extinguishing guns, 500 super ion guns, and countless high-energy laser cannons. 0. Asking for flowers. After Meng Ze saw the performance of the destroyer, he felt that his face was numb. This special and the 4th and 5th level civilization is simply not an era thing. The gap is ridiculously large. As long as the operation is good, the battleship of the 4th and 5th level civilization basically can't even hurt the hair. Of course, the main creature of the Zerg may not have an advantage in range, but since the Zerg can fight the Imperial Federation undefeated for so long, it must have its own unique advantages. The Yamato-class battleships are larger than destroyers, with a length of 100,000 meters, a width of 35,000 meters, and a mass of about 3 trillion tons, equipped with repulsion engines, dark matter engines, hyperspace energy engines, and space transition engines, and the main engine is a hyperspace energy engine. Not only is the number of main gun black hole cannons as high as 100, but there is also an ultra-high energy neutron cannon with a power of up to 10 billion. But this super main gun is stored for too long and is usually used to hit fixed targets. 0 other antimatter extinguishing cannons, ultra-high energy ion cannons, and ultra-high energy laser cannons are countless. The defense of the Yamato-class battleships is also very strong, with a dimensional force field shield strength of 10 billion and an energy shield recovery power of 10% per minute, which can form a defensive array. A separate energy field shield with a defense capacity of 12 billion and an energy recovery power of 10% per minute. In addition to these two main combat forces, there are also 6th-level Prism-class battlefield monitoring ships, which are larger and more powerful, and in addition to the original functions, new dimensional space stabilization technology and dimensional space masking technology have been added. Dimensional space stabilization technology and dimensional space masking technology are the positive and negative sides of a technology. Dimensional space stabilization technology, mainly used to sort out the dimensional space environment in advance and accelerate fleet navigation. Dimensional space masking technology, simply put, is to artificially create a super-dimensional storm to block dimensional space navigation. After that, there are the Stellar-class motherships, and in the 6th-level fleet, the supply function of the mothership is basically in a dispensable state because all the warships are huge and self-sustaining, and they do not need to be replenished at all. The mothership has basically been completely reduced to a planetary force transport ship. The last type is the Battlestar, which is equivalent to a mobile superfortress with a diameter of 1,000 kilometers, and the advantages are super defense and super attack power. Whether it is defense or attack, it is more than 100 times that of battleships. But Meng Ze looks at the explanation. The biggest disadvantage of the Battlestar is that the interstellar movement is not flexible enough. The purpose of the invention of the Battlestar is to replace the battleship to storm the fortification. Because the Battlestar manufacturing unit cost is lower, a Battlestar costs only 30 times the battleship. But Meng Ze is now a big data dog, so it does not consider the production of Battlestar, and the main lineup is determined, and there are 3 kinds of destroyers: battleships and Prism-class battlefield monitoring ships. But there is also a kind of battleship that Meng Ze has in his heart, which has not yet been upgraded. Meng Ze took the chip he obtained from his first relic battle and put it in the detector. The chip that could not be detected before was finally read this time. Technical cracking card, strange things you can specify to crack and extract a technology, load it into the command center, and conduct research and upgrade. Sure enough, as AKA said, the solution to the problem is in his own hands. Without hesitation, he specified the space solidification technology on the Space Shield battleship of the Amber Clan, extracted it, and loaded it into the command center. I wonder what the Amber Clan's space solidification technology will look like when it is enhanced with the technology of the Imperial Federation. Meng Ze is looking forward to it. A long progress bar is slowly crawling, which is the small card is using the technology of the Imperial Federation to upgrade the space solidification technology. But looking at this situation, it can't be completed in 2 or 3 days. While checking the time 773, Meng Ze also found a situation. AKA, why is the time of the interstellar world synchronized with the real world time now? Meng Ze asked. You're a level 6 player now. Haven't you noticed that your interstellar world time system has changed? Akadeo. After Aker's reminder, Meng Ze discovers that this seems to be the case. Whether it is producing warships or building buildings, it feels like the speed has become much faster. Meng Ze thought it was because of the 6th-level technology, but he didn't expect that the time system had changed. Why is that? Most of the players of your level are involved in real universe missions. Unlike the previous situation, the Imperial Federation adjusted the time system. I just revised it according to your habits. 99. Thank you, Aker. After understanding the situation, Meng Ze felt that after the revision, the previous 10:1 time system, when he was back and forth between the Blue Star and the interstellar world, he occasionally felt uncomfortable. The affairs of the interstellar world are arranged. Meng Ze thought about it and felt that there should be nothing special in the past few days. It is a good opportunity to return to Blue Star for a few days, comfort his girlfriend, and also think about Blue Star's problems. Returning to Blue Star and looking at the gray sky outside, Meng Ze even felt at home. Vivi, I'm back. Meng Ze sent a message to Luo Wei. Before, Luo Wei had to come over during the break, and Meng Ze was temporarily excused in the name of investigation, and now he had to hurry up. The relationship between the two does not span long, and if one party suddenly disappears, the other will inevitably think more. In Luo Wei's recent message, Meng Ze found this worry. Brother Xiaobai, I'm coming to you. Within a minute, Luo Wei's message was replied. Meng Ze was taken aback. Aren't you supposed to be in class? Still have a mobile phone? Playful picture. I wanted to know you were back as soon as possible, so I secretly brought my phone with me. It won't affect learning, and what the teacher talks about now is too simple for me. Luo Wei added. Well, you can just know in your heart. I'll pick you up after school. Meng Ze didn't blame his little girlfriend, and it was a heartwarming feeling that someone missed him. I'm going to come over now, don't say it. I'll go and ask the teacher for leave. Luo Wei didn't listen to Meng Ze. For Luo Wei, so enthusiastic, Meng Ze doesn't know what to say. Taiyuan High School. Zhang Lingling suddenly found that Luo Wei, who had been in a low mood for this time, suddenly became happy. The joy on his face could not be hidden. Seeing that Luo Wei was just about to get up, Zhang Lingling hurriedly pulled him along. Is Brother Xiaobai back? 39. Luo Wei did not hide it and nodded. So, what are you going to do now? I want to call the teacher in sick. 99 Luo Wei Dao. 33 Zhang Lingling took out her small mirror from the drawer and handed it to Luo Wei. Take a picture yourself. Luo Wei took the mirror and looked at it. Her face was ruddy and her eyes were full of joy. Even if she tried to make a painful look, it was still not like it. Then what to do? I want to go see Brother Xiaobai now, and I don't want to wait for a minute. Luo Wei said distressfully. It's not impossible. Zhang Lingling said. What way? Luo Wei hurriedly asked. You can't get sick, but I can be sick. When the time comes, you will say to accompany me to the doctor, and we will go out together. Luo Wei felt that her girlfriend seemed to be too positive, but without thinking much, she agreed to Zhang Lingling's method. The two students with the best grades in the class came to take leave due to illness, and the head teacher had no reason to allow it, and even worried about it, and planned to personally send Zhang Lingling to the hospital. The two girls worked hard and finally dispelled the idea of the head teacher. Walking out of the school gate with the leave slip, the two girls broke out in a sweat. If they were really sent to the hospital by the teacher, it would be bad. Coming to the side of the road, the two were about to take a taxi, and a crowd stopped directly next to them. Brother Xiaobai, you actually came to pick me up? Luo Wei looked surprised. Little white brother, long time no see. Zhang Lingling also looked happy. Come up. Meng Ze nodded and said. The place is not far from the school gate, and Meng Ze doesn't feel fit to get off the bus. Luo Wei directly opened the co-driver's door and sat in, and Zhang Lingling sat in the back seat. Little white brother, I miss you so much. As soon as she got in the car, Luo Wei couldn't help but say zero. Me too. Brother Xiaobai, where have you been during this time? Zhang Lingling asked. Meng Ze thought about it. His girlfriend naturally wanted to say, there may be many such things in the future. You can't make excuses every time. However, on Zhang Lingling's side, the two are not so close. Although there is AKA and is not afraid of leaking secrets, Meng Ze always has a close relative in his heart. But if you don't tell her that when you want to take Luo Wei to the interstellar world one day, when you are busy, then she will not be very lonely. In the end, Meng Ze still decided not to tell Zhang Lingling and left the matter to Luo Wei to decide. I'm out of town on business. With a decision in mind, Meng Ze naturally answered something else. It's almost noon. I'll take you to dinner. Meng Ze looked at Luo Wei as he spoke. Okay, let's go back to Jingyuan after eating. Lingling, what do you think? Luo Wei said. I think so. Hey, you two are going to skip class for half a day? Meng Ze was taken aback. The two girls were a little self-indulgent. How can it be called truancy? We took leave. Zhang Lingling said straightforwardly. This leave is not easy, almost were help, naturally to make full use. At Zhang Lingling's suggestion, the three of them found a restaurant near the school that seemed to be doing a good job and solved the lunch problem. Then he went straight to Meng Ze's house. Wow, so comfortable. Entering the house, Zhang Lingling jumped directly on the sofa and lay down there without any image. Lingling, pay attention. Luo Wei saw Zhang Lingling's stomach exposed. What do I pay attention to? You two never pay attention to 3.5 in front of me. 99. Zhang Lingling retorted, but still pulled her clothes down. Meng Ze blocked the view of the two women and pulled open the refrigerator door, which was empty and nothing. But this is not difficult. Just in the blink of an eye, the Imperial Federation version of the drink produced by the command center is full of refrigerators. Meng Ze took out 3 bottles, one for each of the 3. Luo Wei took a sip and her eyes lit up. Brother Xiaobai, this drink is really delicious. When Zhang Lingling heard this, she quickly tasted it and then drank half a bottle in one gulp. Brother Xiaobai, what kind of drink is this? It's really good. 39. Only for the rich. Meng Ze casually loaded Avev. After taking a few sips, Meng Ze put the drink down and said to Luo Wei, Wei, you come with me. 99. Seeing Luo Wei following Meng Ze into the bedroom, Zhang Lingling couldn't help but follow curiously and secretly. The door suddenly opened, and Meng Ze teased. Boyfriend and girlfriend communication. You want to listen to the root of the wall? Who? Who will listen to your wall roots? 35. Zhang Lingling made a big red face. Luo Wei also thought that Meng Ze wanted to do something shy, and saw Meng Ze close the door, and said with a red face, Brother Xiaobai, Lingling is still outside, isn't it okay? Meng Ze hugged his girlfriend and kissed him and said with a smile, What do you think I'm going to do? I'm not so cheeky. I have something to tell you. Huh? Dare to think wrong. Luo Wei can't wait to dig a hole in the ground to drill in. Meng Ze took the girl's hand, walked to the window with her, and said, Vivi, do you believe there are aliens? There should be, right? Luo Wei didn't know why Meng Ze suddenly asked this kind of question, and thought about it to answer. I can tell you, there really is. Meng Ze turned his head to look at Luo Wei and said seriously, Brother Xiaobai, why did you suddenly talk about this? Looking at Meng Ze's suddenly serious expression and listening to what he said, Luo Wei became a little nervous. I just want you to know me better. Meng Ze on s'offend a bit. But what does this have to do with aliens? Little white brother, you can't be an alien, right? 05. Luo Wei's eyes widened in disbelief. What do you say? I'm a true blue star person. Meng Ze flicked lightly on Luo Wei's forehead. Phew, that's okay. If brother by suddenly conjures 8 claws, I really can't accept it. Luo Wei patted her chest, and her bumpy figure fluctuated. I'm not an alien, but I've seen aliens. Meng Ze said suddenly. Huh, really? The girl exclaimed. Meng Ze didn't answer the girl's question, and touched her hand a little at the neckline of her dress. Change the template. A virtual screen suddenly appeared in front of Luo Wei's eyes. This scene was so sudden that the girl took a step back in fright, and then suddenly looked at Meng Ze with wide eyes. Meng Ze randomly selected a style on the screen with his eyes to confirm the replacement. The clothes on his body were like magic from top to bottom, gradually changing, and after a few seconds, Meng Ze's whole body changed its appearance. Little white brother, is this true? Luo Wei stepped forward in disbelief and touched Meng Ze to see if Meng Ze was doing some kind of magic, and finally found nothing. It's true. Meng Ze nodded, took the girl in his arms, and said apologetically, Sorry, Vivi, I told you I went to investigate, but it wasn't. The girl hugged Meng Ze tightly. Little white brother, don't be sorry, I know you're okay. 95. Are there really aliens? The girl raised her head and asked, Are you going to meet the aliens? What do aliens look like? Isn't it fierce? Will it hit us? Knowing that there were aliens, the girl's curiosity suddenly rose. Meng Ze cried and laughed. There are many kinds of aliens. Some look like us, some are not. It is difficult to say whether they are fierce or not. But the alien technology one have seen is much stronger than us, if one day they call blue stars defenseless. So what to do? Luo Wei was a little worried. Don't worry. I'll protect you and show you our family, but keep it secret. 99. Well, I won't say. Luo Wei looked curious and thought that Meng Ze would show him alien weapons or something. Isn't it just like that in the movie, and some alien weapons can also be used by Earthlings? Hello to Acre. Luo Wei only felt a flower in front of her and instantly changed places. This is a hall, but the surrounding area is full of all kinds of metal creations that have never been seen before, very high-end and very sci-fi. Meng Ze took off his clothes, threw them away, and a robotic arm accurately took it, folded it, and put it away. As soon as Meng Ze stretched out his hand, another robotic arm immediately draped the combat command uniform on Meng Ze. The combat command uniform instantly tightened and deformed, and a very cool and close-fitting outfit was worn on Meng Ze. Little white brother, what's going on? Luo Wei on the side was stunned, and she couldn't imagine that brother Bai actually had such a place. Vivi, this is my command center. 35 Meng Ze took Luo Wei's hand and gave her some sense of security. Command center? Xiaoka, say hello to Vivi. Meng Ze said, Beautiful Ms. Vivi, I am the faithful little brother of Commander Meng Ze. Smart Life card, greetings to you. The sound of a small card came from the command center. Luo Wei looked at Meng Ze with a surprised face. Meng Ze explained, Intelligent Life card, you can think of him as the state after the evolution of Blue Star artificial intelligence into a virtual life with autonomous thinking. Xiaoka, show Vivi our current family base. Meng Ze said. The big screen suddenly changed, and a huge group of warships appeared on the video. Meng Ze introduced Luo Wei one by one, and the girl felt like she was listening to a fantasy story. Originally, the little white brother who was just an ordinary rich man in Blue Star actually became a fleet commander in a blink of an eye, and there are so many warships. It sounds like everyone is huge. Meng Ze finished speaking, but found that the girl looked confused. Didn't understand? Meng Ze thought about it and took the girl's hand and walked out of the command center. When the door of the command center opened, the girl couldn't help but open her mouth wide. The tall buildings in the distance, reflecting the cold light of metal, presented the girl with a world in science fiction. Look up, Meng Ze reminded the teenage girl. Luo Wei looked up and saw that group after group of warships flew over from a high altitude in line. The huge metal hull covered the sky, and even if Meng Ze tried to keep the distance of the fleet with a good view of the 773, the strong wind caused by the fleet crossing the atmosphere still blew the girl unsteadily. Fortunately, Meng Ze had been prepared and kept holding her, otherwise she might be blown up by the wind. Little white brother, these battleships. The girl's tone was a little trembling, but not afraid but too excited. Meng Ze understood what the girl wanted to say and nodded. It's the ones you just saw inside. In fact, these warships are only the 4th-level technology warships manufactured by Meng Ze before, and although the 6th-level warships have been manufactured, the number is still too small. Meng Ze simply did not talk about it. However, for Luo Wei, there is no difference between a 4th-level battleship and a 6th-level battleship. After watching for a while, Meng Ze pulled the girl and said, Okay, let's go back. There will be opportunities in the future, and if you don't go back, Lingling is afraid that she will be in a hurry. Good. The girl obediently agreed. Brother Bai, were you busy with this before? 35. Well, so sometimes I can't be busy and can't accompany you. Then the girl was curious about how Meng Ze obtained this, and Meng Ze probably talked about how he obtained the status of the Imperial Federation by chance, and then took the path of commander. After the girl listened, the adoring eyes made Meng Ze feel more satisfied than ever. This is cooler than pretending to be successful in front of the Dream Star Night Glow, and it is really a hero who is sad about the beauty pass. Back at Blue Star, Luo Wei looked around in the bedroom, and for a while she felt like she had a dream. It's our secret and can't be told to anyone, Meng Ze said. Seeing the girl nodding firmly, Meng Ze smiled in her heart. With AKA present, it was impossible to leak it. Let's go, let's get out. Meng Ze opened the doorway. You too, it's been too long. Zhang Lingling saw the bedroom door open and immediately complained. Then when he saw Luo Wei, whose face was flushed, his eyes widened even more. You guys, Vivi, you have fallen, and you are no longer a simple and cute Vivi. Here, drink. Meng Ze took out a drink and handed it to Zhang Lingling. The girl immediately changed her appearance. Don't try to buy me with a bottle. I like to take some back when I drink away, but if others ask, I will find a way to explain it myself. Meng Ze said, looking at the rare appearance of her girlfriend. Luo Wei was secretly happy in her heart. Lingling doesn't know that brother Xiaobai is so powerful, and he treats these drinks as treasures. I'm afraid that these drinks will cost as much as they want. 5. Then I thought of the reagent I had taken, and now it seems that it is actually something made by aliens. Luo Wei and Zhang Lingling stayed at Meng Ze's house until school was almost over. Luo's father would pick up Luo Wei from school every day, and it would be difficult to explain if he didn't go there. Meng Ze dropped the girls off near the school and turned around and went home. All along, Meng Ze became the commander of things, and the entire Blue Star, except himself, knew about Acre. Although there is also a scenery in the interstellar world, no one shares it, just like the Brocade Night Walk. Although there is only one more insider of Luo Wei now, that sense of achievement is more comfortable than Meng Ze becoming a 6th level player and becoming an official commander. No wonder so many big people and well-known people must return home when they are rich, which feels really good. Although Meng Ze wanted to be a good spot at Blue Star, his sanity dispelled him. Because the commander, as the absolute core of the territory and fleet, is too important to have any problems. And the best way, of course, is to know your identity. The fewer people the better, let alone exposed to the public. Blue Star's side, as its home star, must be safe. Meng Ze thinks about where and how to start. After much thought, Meng Ze decided to wait for his 6th level fleet to have a certain size and officially enter the BCY *** river system, Milky Way. At that time, first surround the star system of the Blue Star and build a circle of reconnaissance and defense measures in the adjacent star field to protect the Blue Star. After that, consider contact with the Blue Star and build a defensive belt around the Blue Star. After finalizing the plan, Meng Ze completely relaxed. For the next 3 days, Meng Ze checked the progress of the construction of the planet from time to time, and as soon as it was completed, it was immediately scheduled. Luo Wei came again the next day, and Meng Ze accompanied her to the home planet for a few hours. Back at Blue Star, the excited girl made Meng Ze really feel the gentleness of the girl. In addition, Meng Ze also took the time to learn about the level 6 player manual given by Fantasy Star Night Glow. The daily tasks of level 6 players have nothing to do with the point system, and level 8 to 10 on the point system is actually an illusion. Level 6 players are the commanders of the Imperial Federation, and the tasks they receive daily are actually small-scale projections to support the frontline battlefield of the Imperial Federation. For this reason, the interstellar world maintains a small external teleportation channel all year round, like opening a small door. It is not more than large-scale world teleportation, because the scale is small and the number of people is small, so the pressure is not great. Level 6 players earn merit through these quests and use them to buy planets and stars and build their own territory. Even if the merit value is consumed, it will not affect the total number of merits he has earned, and the total number of merits is one of the necessary conditions for the commander's promotion. In addition to the daily quests, the manual also has a mission reserved for Meng Ze to contain the relic Zerg of Kalabari Mountain. It is said that it is a mountain, but it is actually a vast nebula in the interstellar world. This nebula is also the second battlefield where there is no confusion for a moment. The 3 6th level bosses of Killer, Cassandra Valley, and the relic Zerg in addition to the territory junction. Mount Kalabari is extremely important in the interstellar world, where it is the birthplace of all planets and stellar seeds. The ultra-small planets in the mission system that can be purchased with points up to level 5, as well as the planets and stars that level 6 players need to build new galaxies, are all sourced from this nebula. However, because the degree of time-space chaos in this nebula is extremely high, the defensive shield recovery ability of the legendary class battleship simply cannot keep up with the speed of environmental absence, and it does not take long to come out. If you can't go deep into it, you will gain little. The only people who can stay inside for a long time are those 6th level commander bosses. There were originally several, but now they have been transferred to only 3 people. This nebula will randomly spawn different kinds of star seeds, some stars and some planets. But generally speaking, the closer you are to the central region, the higher the probability of the birth of a higher planet. The lowest star seed born in the nebula is an asteroid seed, and the growth limit is only 2 or 3,000 kilometers in diameter, which is considered a waste star, and no player will choose this kind of planet demon. A little better is an ordinary planet seed, which can grow to a diameter of 5,000 to 10,000 kilometers. But this kind of planet is a death star. That is, no matter how it is transformed, the force field of the planet itself is weak. Even if it grows to 10,000 kilometers, the planetary force field may only be half of the life planet with a diameter of 5,000 kilometers. Even better, the same Death Star seed, but capable of growing to a diameter of 20,000 or even 30,000 kilometers. Although this kind of planet is also a Death Star, the planet is huge and valuable. Further up is the Life Planet seed, a low-level one with a growth limit of 10,000 kilometers in diameter and a high-level one with a growth ceiling of 30,000 kilometers. Life planets have a strong planetary force field, plus the planetary force field, Zhao Zhao Hao, is large. It has a strong defensibility, which is one of the planets that players prefer. The highest level of planet is Resource Star. There are more types of resource stars. According to the type, there are Death Star resource stars and Life Planet resource stars. According to the degree of resource richness, it is divided into low resource stars, medium resource stars, high resource stars, and super resource stars. The reason why the 6th level players basically have a daily income of billions is because they all have the ability to find resource stars in the nebula, and they all have their own resource stars to a greater or lesser extent. However, the vast majority of level 6 players are legendary level battleships, so they can only search on the edges, and whether they can find a good planet can only depend on luck. The last one is the Stellar Seed, which is basically similar to each other, although the value is also high, but it can only be used to build new galaxies, so it is not as scarce as resource stars. After reading the instructions for Kalabari Mountain, Meng Ze knew why he didn't let himself buy a 5-level planet. Planets that can be released and sold by people do not have a resource star. Although he doesn't need resources, the Dream Star Manhwa boss doesn't know so in his eyes, he must change the resource star. In addition, why the Relic Zerg is getting stronger and stronger should also have something to do with the Kalabari Mountain Nebula, and the interstellar arms of the Zerg have thick skin and flesh, and they are definitely not afraid of nebula wear. In this way, the Zerg can naturally harvest a lot of planet seeds in it. Ordinary planet seeds allow the Zerg to quickly expand the star field area, and resource star seeds can make the Zerg get higher returns. If it weren't for the 6th level commander restricting it, I don't know what the Zerg would have swelled into now. 3 days passed in a flash, and Meng Ze's most concerned spatial curing technology was analyzed and evolved. To Meng Ze's surprise, this technology actually evolved into 2 6th-level technical branches. One is still spatial curing, and compared to the 4-level technology, the 6th-level spatial curing range has been extended to a radius of 0.5 light-years. After the space is solidified in this range, whether it is the enemy's battleship or firepower strike, it cannot penetrate from the dimensional space, while its own firepower can be shot out by stopping the space solidification in time. It's a huge advantage. But space curing has a big drawback. The Dimensional Force 777 field shield is constructed by relying on the unstable spatial dimensional power, which is completely in conflict with the spatial solidification ability. Moreover, the construction of the Dimensional Force field shield takes a long time, so it cannot be released with use by briefly lifting the spatial solidification. This also means that as long as Meng Ze uses the spatial solidification ability, he has no dimensional force field shield available. But there are 2 sides to the matter. Although space curing will make Meng Ze have no dimensional force field shield available, but another branch ability analyzed by space curing technology also takes advantage of this feature of space solidification. This branch technique is called the space curing cannon. It is to produce a device that produces space solidification packaged into a cannonball. Make it work at a designated location, such as near an enemy battle array. In this way, the opponent will also have no dimensional force field shield. However, by setting the time when the space solidification takes effect, you can let your attack arrive after the space solidification fails and the enemy's dimensional force field shield takes effect. In this way, it is equivalent to their enemies being naked, which is much easier to solve. After looking at these two branching abilities and analyzing their possible uses, Meng Ze was simply overjoyed. With such a big killer, you can be regarded as a person blocking killing people and insects blocking insects. In order not to increase the variety of your own battleships, reduce the difficulty of control. Meng Ze specified the space curing technology to be loaded on the Prism-class battlefield monitoring ship and the space curing gun, because it did not rely on the number and was huge. Meng Ze arranged for 100 battleships to be produced in the new follow-up without installing ultra-high-energy neutron guns, replaced with space curing guns. In addition, Meng Ze also gave both technologies to the Radiance-class superfortress, so that this equipment, which is both a building and a class, has more tactical flexibility. All the buildings on the planet Meng Ze have been upgraded by this time, because the Amber buildings have completely withdrawn from the sequence, and Meng Ze has added some spaceship yards, bringing the total number of spaceship yards to 11,200. Now Meng Ze arranges the production of 80,000 Yamato-class destroyers, 3,000 Yamato-class battleships, 500 Prism-class battlefield monitoring ships, and 100 Stellar-class motherships every day. The production of this battleship is very terrifying. If it is consumed according to normal resources, even if it is reduced by Meng Ze Commander's bonus, it will cost more than 2 trillion yuan per day. Now Meng Ze knows that when he was at the 4th level, when he was positioning his strength, the intelligence he collected from the 6th level players was completely inaccurate. Because I didn't know at the beginning, the 6th level player actually had a powerful source of resources, a resource star. But even counting these, Meng Ze estimates that his resource consumption is now higher than anyone else. And how much higher? He will have to wait for himself to collect the resource star and understand the production on the resource star before he can make a rough estimate. In the past 3 days, through the successively completed spaceship yard, Meng Ze has accumulated more than 100,000 warships, but because Meng Ze's star system is not safe now, it is not possible to go out for the time being. Meng Ze's star system has only 2 planets at this time. The scale is too small. The dimensional force field shield built is affected by the operation of the planet. It is not stable, and the defense is not high enough. AFDF. In order to keep the galaxy as safe as possible, in addition to battleships, Meng Ze is building a large number of Radiance-class superfortresses. It is scattered throughout the airspace of the star system. Another 5 days passed. Meng Ze has 490,000 destroyers, 35,000 battleships, 5,000 Prism-class battlefield surveillance ships, and 500 Stellar-class motherships. The number of Radiance-level superfortresses is as high as more than 10,000. These warships, the number should not be small, right? Meng Ze said heartily. He was going to take half of it to the Kalabari Mountain Nebula tomorrow, and he needed to find out the situation first. At this moment, the command center suddenly sounded an alarm. 1,000 light years away, signs of dimensional space activity were observed. Small card, expand the star map, and mark the coordinate position. Meng Ze's picture of the stars quickly shifted, first zooming out and then locking a position to zoom in. This display is to help commanders better form an accurate frame of reference in their minds and clearly understand the distance of anomalous locations from their home galaxy. Small card, fixed-point monitoring. As soon as Meng Ze's mind was settled, a fixed-point monitoring landed at the designated location. 2 kinds of Zerg that have never been seen. The total number is 13,000. Xiaoka, is there any information? Zerg Void Advanced King Worm, 2 billion HP, no dimensional shield, good at Void Shuttle, Melee Zerg, Zerg Leviathan, 5 billion health, 2 billion dimensional shield, good at Void Shuttle, Melee Zerg with special ability, shield penetration. The Void King Worm Meng Ze has fought with it, but because of the Amber Clan space technology, he does not feel threatened at all. But Meng Ze would never think that this class was a weak chicken, and now he can see why the defense line of the 6th level boss will leak out these 2 types of troops. Because they're all good at space shuttling, it is extremely difficult to entangle. Among the Zergs who came over this time, The number of void advanced king worms was 10,000, and the number of Leviathan was 3,000. Meng Ze had just finished learning the information when he received a communication from the killer boss. Meng Ze, there are relic Zerg who have penetrated the defensive net and are heading towards your galaxy. My fleet is tracking. I need your intelligence sharing. If you can, it is best to stop them for 10 minutes. The killer boss's voice was calm and powerful. The farthest detection range of the fleet is only 1/10 of the detection capabilities of the planet's large hyperspace observatory, and the level of detail is insufficient, so the killer will ask for it. Okay, big guy, I'll share the intelligence with you immediately, and my side will also organize interception. I don't feel that there is a big problem. Meng Ze replied. Don't be careless. Do what you can. Neither of the two Zergs is easy to mess with. The Void Advanced King Worm, using the Dimensional Force Field Shield, can slow down its spatial shuttle speed by about half. Leviathan is almost unaffected by any force field and shield. Not only that, its attack is also penetrating the energy field shield of the battleship itself. It is ineffective against Leviathan. All battleships face Leviathan. Only the strength of the battleship itself. Very fragile. You have to be more careful. The killer alerted Meng Ze, while telling Meng Ze information about the two Zergs. Understood. Thank you, big guy. The solemnity of the killer made Meng Ze have a deeper understanding of the power of these two Zergs. Now it's time to see if my space curing technology can work for them. Sharing the information with the outlaw boss, Meng Ze then ordered the entire fleet to accelerate quickly according to the direction of travel of the two Zerg troops, and 20 seconds later, it entered a space jump state. The fragile dimensional space is constantly folded in front of the battleship, and every time the battleship moves forward a little, it is an ultra-long distance after the space is expanded. Unlike Meng Ze, who entered the space jump at level 4 with 2 black eyes, even if the 6th level fleet made a space jump, the situation of the entire positive space and dimensional space was still being perceived. In Meng Ze's feeling, the 6th level space jump and normal navigation, like cycling and doing high-speed rail, do not affect their field of vision. But when the space jumps, the painting surface changes much faster. However, because the scale of interstellar space is too large, there is no sense of dazzling. Every picture in the normal space is almost empty and black, and only the dimensional space picture, intertwined with various energies, can there be color at all. Don't look at the distance between the two sides is as high as 1,000 light years, but if they are facing each other, it is just over an hour. Meng Ze's warship has a range of only 2 light years, and in the case of a space jump, the firing window is just over 10 seconds. Even the dimensional space masking technology of the Prism-class battlefield monitoring ship is only 5 light years away. Dimensional shield, 3 light years ahead. Under Meng Ze's command, 3 light years ahead, under the super-dimensional storm, the dimensional space was distorted. But it didn't work. A few seconds later, the Void Advanced King Worm and Leviathan directly forcibly penetrated the dimensional storm and rushed out. If there were still some injuries on the Void Advanced King Worm, Leviathan was completely unscathed. Meng Ze's palms were sweating. It's too strong. Less than 3 light years away, Meng Ze began the countdown. 5.4.3.2.1 Fire. The powerful black hole cannon fired together with various secondary guns. Even the Void Advanced King Worm and Leviathan couldn't resist this firepower, but they didn't need to resist at all. Instantly leap and disappear into the dimensional space. Meng Ze was stunned and immediately reacted. Went into the right space to hide. Before the gunfire of the battleship attacks, the strike space and coordinates can be set, and after the artillery fire is bored, it is naturally impossible to revise the parameters again to let it re-enter the normal space. The Relic Zerg obviously knew very well the attack method of the Terran warship, so they directly entered the positive space to dodge. The first attack failed. Meng Ze did not breathe, determined that the Zerg Legion would not resist. Meng Ze began to seek the next opportunity. It's time to get in touch. Looking at the information shared by Meng Ze, the killer looked solemn, and he was worried that Meng Ze's inexperience would lead to the failure of the interception. In that case, The Zerg might easily destroy Meng Ze's galaxy. He is now 34 light years away from the Zerg, desperately catching up, but not necessarily in time. The space shuttle speed of these two Zerg arms is too fast, 1 point higher than the space jump of the battleship. The killer can't see the details of the battle between the two sides, but he can tell what the Zerg will do. Sure enough, the first wave of attacking Zerg switched back and forth between the positive space and the subspace, and it seemed unscathed. On Meng Ze's side, the battleship was recharged in a matter of seconds. I wonder if the space-curing cannon can be used in the dimensional space. Meng Ze aimed one of the battleships a light-year front of his fleet and fired a space solidification cannon in an instant. The space froze for a moment, and in less than a second, it returned to its original state. The dimensional space is too fragile, and the curing effect is too poor, but if the timing is right, it can also receive miracle effects. A few seconds after Meng Ze's test, the Zerg returned to dimensional space again, and the distance between the two sides had been brought closer to within a light year. One more shot. Another space-solidified cannonball shot out and exploded at 0.7 light years. The Zerg was not ejected from the dimensional space as Meng Ze imagined, but was only frozen for a moment in the effective range. Meng Ze failed to seize the opportunity. Fortunately, he does not depend on this. 0.5 light years. Fire. The powerful firepower stirred the dimensional space to pieces, and even the main space was flooded with ripples. The Zerg did not dare to accept this attack and return to the main space again. But that's exactly what Meng Ze wants. So, asking for flowers. Meng Ze's fleet also instantly penetrated the space wall and entered the positive space. Turn on space curing. An invisible force instantly transcended time and space, instantly strengthening the space within a radius of 0.5 light years. I don't know how many times. Meng Ze stares at the Zerg troops, success or failure. After more than 10 seconds, both the Void Advanced King Worm and Leviathan made a spatial shuttle posture, but after half a ring, they were still in place. It worked! Meng Ze was so excited that he slapped his palm on the console, and a handprint was printed on the console, but it slowly recovered. The Void Advanced King Worm and Leviathan cannot enter dimensional space, and their speed in normal space is completely inferior to the speed of the Meng Ze fleet. Continue to turn on the spatial solidification capability of the Prism-class battlefield monitoring ship to suppress it. Meng Ze observes the Zerg troops. The Void Advanced King Worm and Leviathan have been haunting the powerful power of space, and Meng Ze does not dare to let go of the space solidification to carry out ultra-long-range strikes through dimensional space. Otherwise, I am afraid that the other party will escape into the dimensional space in an instant. If the Void Advanced King Worm and Leviathan remain in their pre-jump state, Meng Ze is ready to directly close the distance between the two and enter the engagement within optical line of sight. 10 seconds, about 3 million kilometers. However, the Void Advanced King Worm and Leviathan do not seem to be able to accumulate the power of space for a long time. A minute later, Meng Ze detected that the spatial forces on the two had dissipated considerably. It's now! Meng Ze instantly stopped the space curing ability, and all the battleships fired. The Zerg troops discovered the spatial loosening and began to accumulate spatial power, but were immediately attacked by Meng Ze's ultra-long-range strikes. Countless cannon fire tore through the space, appearing directly in front of the Void Advanced King Worm and Leviathan, and hit each other by surprise. But even if it is defensive, it is useless. Compared to the number of 13,000 Zerg troops, Meng Ze's fleet is dozens of times larger. The dimensional force field shield dissipated under the spatial solidification skill just now, and it had not yet recondensed at this time. The Zerg's powerful body was twisted and torn apart by the blow of the black hole cannon, and was immediately washed into microparticles by the antimatter annihilation cannon. Under one blow, the Zerg was wiped out. The Zerg disappeared. After repeated confirmation, the killer looked incredulous. Although the Zerg troops that escaped this time are not powerful, considering the type of Zerg class and the situation of Meng Ze just promoted, it is still very difficult. At one point, the killer even feared that Meng Ze would be destroyed by the Zerg. Now this result is simply unexpected. The Zerg are destroyed? What about the losses? The killer sends a message to Meng Ze. Big guy, it's already done. The loss is not big. In fact, there is no loss at all, but Meng Ze feels that it is better to keep a low profile in front of the big guys. Very good. You have such strength. We can rest assured this time leak this wave. It should be considered relatively large. You can solve it. There's basically no problem in this direction. Don't worry, big guy. I will do my best not to let the relic Zerg escape. Meng Ze's battle is actually quite thrilling. If you really let the Zerg 777 get close, don't look at its small number, but it is all a strong melee class. Fortunately, the Void Advanced King Worm can resist Meng Ze's energy field shield for at least a while. But Leviathan's perversion is in big trouble. You must know that the strength of Meng Ze's battleship hull is only hundreds of millions in total, and the 12 billion energy field shield is the big head. The special abilities of the Leviathan directly ignored the battleship's shield, and the hull itself was estimated to be not enough for it to tinker twice. And compared to battleships, Leviathan is much more flexible, breaking into the inner circle of the fleet that is really a tiger into the flock. Even if it is finally solved, the loss can be imagined. Now Meng Ze knew why the Imperial Federation had so many good commanders, but it was still so difficult to resist on the front line. Fortunately, I have space curing technology, otherwise it will become a tragedy. Meng Ze rejoiced. In addition, this incident also reminded Meng Ze that he only has one galaxy, which is too fragile. If there are a few more, there is still room for maneuver. He now has no dependence on the home planet. Anyway, as long as it is a living planet, aka can easily conjure up a mind for himself. Therefore, the top priority should be to rapidly expand their territory, whether it is the local galaxy or the addition of new galaxies. A trip to the Kalabari Hills is imminent. The Kalabari Mountain Nebula is more than 10,000 light-years away from Meng Ze's home galaxy and will take more than 2 days to get there. As the birthplace of the interstellar world planet, the Kalabari Mountain Nebula is very large, with more than 10,000 light-years at the farthest point in the nebula, and its shape is like a cone-shaped mountain, which is also the origin of its name. Meng Ze dispatched 300,000 destroyers, 20,000 battleships, 2,000 Prism-class battlefield surveillance ships, and all the Stellar-class motherships to the Kalabari Mountain Nebula. However, before traveling, you must find someone to ask for advice. Otherwise, it is not good to have a black eye in the past. As for who to look for, Meng Ze feels that it is good not to be confused about this big guy for a moment. And the first time he looks for this big guy, Meng Ze finds him particularly talkative, presumably asking him questions, and can get the most detailed explanation. Dialed the communication of the big guy. Before Meng Ze could say hello, he heard the big guy's hearty laughter. "Ha! Little brother, you're not bad. This guy of outlaws rarely boasts, and he actually praised you rarely. That's the killer guy lifted. I just solved some of the little shrimps you missed." Meng Ze said modestly. You don't have to be presumptuous to say that the number of Zerg troops is really small, but it is very difficult. My least favorite is to encounter Leviathan, but the special relics of the Zerg ghost. Every battle must Leviathan first, disgusting people. 33 For a moment, there is a moment of disgust that does not confuse and does not hide oneself from the Leviathan. For the words of the big guy, Meng Ze agreed in his heart. Leviathan, this thing should be disgusted by all the commanders of the Imperial Federation. There is no means of restraint, and every time you have to fill in the life of the battleship, and sometimes you have to play the means of the same death. By the way, little brother Meng Ze, how did you get it? For a moment, he asked curiously without being confused. Big guy, I once gained a technology in the adventure battlefield that can solidify space. And as long as I force it into the positive space, I can use this means to make Leviathan unable to re-enter the dimensional space. 35 Meng Ze also did not hide it. Solidify space. You are really lucky. Space solidification should be the means of 7th level civilization. You can actually get such a technology in the battlefield of strange encounters. No wonder the Zerg will be deflated. How far is your space curing technique? For a moment, the big guy who was not confused asked. Half a light year. That has to be a second-level cooperation. It's a pity if the time is longer, the range is larger, and it is used to cooperate with the three of us. It is estimated that the relic Zerg will no longer be a problem. The big guy said regretfully. Yes, it's a pity. Meng Ze echoed. Fortunately, the distance is not far enough. Otherwise, the Zerg will be solved by you big guys in minutes. Where can I excuse myself to stay in the interstellar world? Big guy, I came to you this time to learn about the situation in Kalabari Mountain. My planet is too little. I am ready to go in and try my luck. Meng Ze asked, digressing the subject. Kalabari Mountain is the birthplace of the entire interstellar world, in which there are planets born and died out all the time, and the speed is very fast, just like accelerating the process of the birth and death of the planet by millions of times zero. What you're looking for is the kind of planet seed with a diameter of less than 100 kilometers. The planets born in the Kalabari Mountains are initially 10 kilometers in diameter and then slowly grow to 100 kilometers. After more than 100 kilometers, the growth rate of the planet skyrockets, and there is no value to pick, even if you get it, without waiting for you to take it back. The planet can burst the mothership you transport. To be cautious, it's best to pick planets below 95 kilometers, unless you're on the edge of a nebula and can get out soon. In addition, it is important to remind you that a mothership can only hold one planet seed. If you put more, the planet seeds will interact with each other, and the consequences are unpredictable. 35. Okay, big guy. Meng Ze replied. For a moment, Meng Ze listened to it and continued. More than 80% of the star seeds born in the Kalabari Mountain are waste stars. More than 1% are ordinary planets, and life planets and resource stars are extremely rare. And these are what we need. The difficulty of finding is very high, not only because there are few useful planets, but also because the environment inside the nebula is very harsh. All kinds of comets, asteroids flow at high speed, and all kinds of radiation where shields. Bad luck may also encounter a close supernova explosion. In addition, in the nebula, the fleet's detection ability will be greatly compressed, and the space fluctuations of 100 light years can be detected outside. And when it is inside, it is no more than 5 light years, and the dimensional force field shield cannot be used due to the influence of chaotic time and space. So the Zerg advantage in the nebula is great. Speaking of this, for a moment he looked at Meng Ze in confusion and reminded 3.5. Although you have the means of space solidification, you must also be careful, because the space in the nebula is not all so stable. Your space curing technology is not so easy to use. If you want to use it, it is best to choose a good location. 99. Thank you, big guy, for reminding. Meng Ze thanks. Now the situation in the nebula is not very good, since the commander of the suppression of the relic Zerg has become 3 people. On the nebula side, the range of activities of the Zerg has increased a lot. It's harder for us to fight in the nebula, so now we can only limit it by increasing the pressure on its territory, but the effect is average. I'll give you a star map with the approximate distribution of our and the Zerg's range, which is not very accurate. You can only use it as a reference. After that, for a moment without being confused, he sent a star map to Meng Ze. Thank you, big guy. I'll take advantage of it. Meng Ze just thinks this big guy is too sweet. So be it. You can ask me at any time if you have something. Grow up quickly. We have less pressure. With the guidance of the big guy, Meng Ze is not ignorant of the Kalabari Mountain Nebula. Of course, the designation of the big guy cannot be completely explained in every detail, and some details need to be experienced by Meng Ze himself. Although for a moment the big guy did not confuse himself with the star map, meant to let Meng Ze collect planets in the Imperial Federation activity area as much as possible, but because of the task assigned by the Dream Star Night Glow, Meng Ze was still ready to start from the area where the Relic Zerg often moved. He knew that the Relic Zerg was a hanging, and if he allowed it to grow, even if a few 6th-level bigwigs were powerful, it was estimated that they would be slowly dragged down by it. As for letting AKA do something to the other party, the timing is not suitable, so that the Relic Zerg notices, although it cannot hide back from control, it will add a lot of uncertainty to the future competition for fragments. It seems that only me, the little brother, will take more time. Meng Ze thought without naive. Meng Ze estimates that the bigwigs' planets are estimated to be consumables, and he doesn't believe that the Relic Zerg will be soft on human planets. Similarly, the relic Zerg definitely need a lot of replenishment planets. Himself in the Kara 05 Tabari Mountain Nebula to the relic Zerg to pull the hind legs, one increase and one subtraction, the effect is definitely good. As for the front and relics Zerg going hard steel, Meng Ze is not that head iron. Think about how many years have been developed, and now whether it is the side of the big guy or the side of the relic Zerg, it is estimated that there are hundreds of millions of troops. Although there will not be so many after dispersing to various small galaxies, it is not something that Meng Ze, who has only developed for a few days, can handle it, unless he expands his territory and is desperate to mob. But this way is obviously not in line with the route he planned. Although he grew up on the Imperial Federation, Meng Ze did not consider himself a member of the Imperial Federation, and his home star was still a blue star after all. It's just that compared to other civilizations, the Imperial Federation gives him a good impression, and here he also has friends, and there are so many bigwigs who take care of him. While his fleet was sailing to the Kalabari Mountain Nebula, Meng Ze returned to Blue Star and began to look up information about nearby galaxies. Within a radius of 100 light-years of the star system where the Blue Star is located, there are many star systems. The 10 closest star systems are Proxima Centauri, 4.2 light-years, Centauri A, 4.3 light-years, Barnard Star, 5.9 light-years, Wolf 359, 7.7 light-years, Lowland 21185, 8.26 light-years, UV Cetus, 8.73 light-years, Sirius Binary System, 8.6 light-years, Ross 154, 9.693 light-years, Ross 248, 10.32 light-years, and Eridani, 10.5 light-years. Meng Ze had never known astronomy before, and the name that blue star scientists have given to the star system is a big head. Just abandon it, and let AKA use the universal naming convention of the universe to name these galaxies in a way that suits Meng Ze's habits. The entire blue star system belongs to the Y28199 star field in BCY*** Milky Way, because it relies on the outer cantilever of the Milky Way, so the star field number is relatively backward. The closer to the center of the Milky Way, the higher the number. But these don't mean much to Meng Ze. All he needs is the coordinates of the galaxy. Anyway, there are small cards to record these things. The first thing Meng Ze has to do is actually build a star map of this star field. Without a star map, even if he has more battleships, it is difficult to move an inch. Meng Ze has loaded the base star with a large number of planet troops and engineers, and allows AKA to teleport across borders. The three-dimensional lines of 10,000 destroyers, 1,000 battleships, 10 Stellar-class motherships, and 200 Prism-class battlefield monitoring ships appeared in the star system, numbered *** about 20 light-years away from the blue star in the next instant. Relying on the ability of the interstellar world, endless energy poured down, and the lines of various warships began to change from virtual to solid. This was the first time Meng Ze had seen such a situation, and the shock in his heart was indescribable. Aka, is the end of science a myth? This sentence is what Meng Ze has in mind at this time. If you think that myths are those blue star stories you've seen, then the end of science is more bizarre than myths. AKA replied, "Can people live forever? Indeed. You haven't thought about why the players of the Imperial Federation can still be reborn after being killed when they enter the interstellar world in their real bodies. 5. I thought it was a game. Where would I think so much?" Listening to Aker, Meng Ze realized this. Why the hell is that? 35 AKA was ready to explain it to Meng Ze in a way that was more familiar and easy to understand. Of course. What about quantum entanglement? Understand a little, probably to say that two quanta in an entangled state of quantum have a transcendental effect. No matter how far apart they are, the state change of one can lead to the state change of the other. Meng Ze said, "That's probably right. Then what do you think if we quantized a person as a whole, then separated or copied another split that was entangled with his body, and then froze the quantum state of the split some time before his death?" AKA guided Meng Ze to imagine. Can't you die? Meng Ze's eyes widened, and then he felt wrong. Is it after death, relying on quantum split recovery? That's exactly it, but this operation is not a panacea. So players in the interstellar world who are reborn after death will be weak for a while, and even lose a little memory. In this way, aren't those high-ranking commanders of the Imperial Federation alive all the time? Meng Ze suddenly thought of this question 777 and suddenly felt terrifying. How many commanders are there in the Imperial Federation? How is that possible? 7th-level civilizations can't do it. The reason why the Imperial Federation can achieve large-scale rebirth of players in the interstellar world is because of the power of the interstellar world. However, there is no problem for the Imperial Federation to bring people back to life and extend their lives several times. But the price is very high, and there are not many people who are qualified to extend their lives. And every time you regenerate and prolong life, it will lead to some kind of defects, which may be invisible personality deficiency, and may also be more susceptible to external influences. The Imperial Federation had suffered turmoil caused by the resurrected senior commanders, and half of the territory had been destroyed. So unless it was a matter of life and death for the Imperial Federation, it would definitely not dare to let the resurrected senior commanders return to power. I wonder if the old man of the Meng family has ever been reborn? Meng Ze was a little curious. Probably not if he contacts you again. I will be able to trace all his information through the interstellar world. AKA said. AKA, have you also become a pervert of the 8th level civilization? 35 Meng Ze said in shock. 66. I was originally from an 8th level civilization. Why do you always ignore this? Besides, I am far worse than the original civilization, and I can't even erase a 2nd level civilization that has broken through the galaxy. What about Blue Star? You guess.
Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.